every age group.
Everyone's.
All age groups are distracted by smartphones.
My name is Naomi McGorry.
My name is Madigan Wells.
Jake Engelman.
Carolyn Daughters.
Michael Vanderlinden.
I am 22 years old.
22 years old.
24 years old.
46 years old.
I'm 54 years old.
I have a basic phone instead of a smartphone
Because I've never really found the need to have a smartphone. I think I get enough out of the texting and the calling that I can do with my phone that just everything that a smartphone has is just not that necessary in my life.
felt like everyone was being distracted by them and I didn't need those distractions. Like I honestly only need my phone to text people or to call people.
I get annoyed when I see people looking down at their phone all the time or using their phone constantly, or you're trying to hang out with someone and they're on their phone the entire time. So I was kind of against that.
Like everything that a smartphone has, like essentially unnecessary. Like you can live a very normal life or even a better life like without a smartphone.
Life in general really isn't that complicated. I think the relationships we have and the way that we interact with people is much more about the face-to-face and, you know, the conversations, and even with texting, it's simple.
I believe that everyone in general is distracted by phones. I'm not sure if it really targets one group of people. Like lots of people in our generation use it, but lots of older people also use a lot of iPhones, considering that smartphones have been kind of like in our society for a while. And I think just everyone in general uses it except for like 70 to 80-year-olds.
I guess I am around more people my age, but I see people everywhere at every age.
I'm around a lot of the 22-year-olds or the 20-year-olds, so I notice that the most. But I think that adults, as well as, or older adults I should say, as well as 10-year-olds are just as distracted by smartphones.
I see middle-aged people on their smartphone the same amount, I think, as younger people.
I feel like smartphone distractions are happening with every age group.
One of my mom's parents has gotten into like 5 accidents because she's been on her phone, like literally just calling people and like just not paying attention. So it's kind of, I think like definitely like the older generation is involved just as much as we are.
So my generation, we're on the phone, but then we're asking each other, well, tell me about the Facebook pictures you saw that I posted. We want that kind of verbal connection feedback afterward, whereas the younger people would probably text that question. What'd you think of the pictures? Oh, they were awesome. I saw them this morning.
I think the younger generations, for anything, take more flack about any kind of technology addiction, I guess you would call it.
Since we invented technology, I think we're more enamored of it, perhaps, of others. But those that are digital natives may use it more than they think they're using it without knowing it.
The older generation is actually making the product, and then the younger is using it, but then revolting a little bit. Could just be a little bit to do with like the cyclical way that like revolutions work.
Talk about the work that Steve Jobs and other developers and innovators, the work that they've done. I hadn't thought of the idea that those innovators are maybe of a different generation creating technologies for younger generations.
Being this age, we have been like shoved into the tech world, but for us, we see how it's really debilitating to like our lives.
And when you had phones with camera, it seemed like every time you went to a restaurant, someone had to take a picture of the waiter, the menu, the table, and the food.
I was at the Five Points Jazz Festival this past summer, and there were maybe 100 people in this coffee shop, The Point, and the music's playing, and I looked around the room and saw several phones out and people typing things into their phones. And almost everybody I saw who had their iPhone out was probably 40 or older.
I think the reason that the 18 to 28 is more on their phone more but uses less apps. It's potentially because the apps that are popular are it's like a trending basis, and so I think that there's like Instagram, there's Snapchat, there's Facebook, and that's maybe all that age group is using.
They still use it as phone, but they know what apps are good, and I think there's more of the conversation about that.
Young people are spending more time on some forms of social media generally, though Facebook, I might debate that that's across the board. But they're using their phones, I think, as a primary means of communicating with everybody.
When you're the older age group, like 35 plus, I think you said, there are so many apps that potentially they think is cool and they find some sort of enjoyment out of, and it's more of like the accumulation of those apps.
They're using it more as a computer because it's like this new technology to them. To us, to the younger generation of people my age, it's like kind of just a phone that, oh, I can get directions or look at Facebook whenever I want.
And calling that a phone is a misnomer. It's clearly a pocket computer at these points.
In my generation and older is people with their phones, and they ask a question just socially, and somebody doesn't know the answer, or there's a disagreement as to the answer, and one or more people pull the phones out and they start typing their questions in.
As of now, I will not ever convert to a smartphone in the future. I think they're unnecessary.
I don't plan to. I did have a smartphone for maybe 3 months, and it cracked all over. I was like cutting myself with the glass and everything. And I think I got it because I got the opportunity to, but I think the cost of the phone, the cost of the plan, everything that it entails, I don't really want to delve into again unless I'm required to.
Definitely don't think I'm ever going to have a smartphone until they force me to.
I probably won't switch back. I mean, as much as I was against getting one, it's convenient to have.
I don't think I could go back to a non-smartphone, because there are certain things that I do to manage my time and manage my day, and having my phone set up exactly the way I have it set up, these are no-brainers. They move me through my day in a way that I don't have to think through a number of things.
I don't think so. I enjoy the technology. I may be one of the abusers of the technology, although I don't think I use it as much as some, but I use it fairly frequently, especially to look things up.
In reality, smartphone distraction is everyone. It's a problem for everybody. It's not just the 18 to 28-year-olds. 14-year-olds are distracted, 55-year-olds are distracted. Everybody's distracted on their phone. It just pinpointed onto the millennials. It is that generation that is telling us to look down, then turning around and yelling at us that we are looking down when we're trying to shout to the world to look up. We are creating these projects, these games, these photographs, these stories to look up. My challenge for you is to do the smartphone cleanse. Getting rid of all those excess social media apps, the bookmarks that you don't use anymore. That is a step. Getting rid of these gets rid of those distractions, and it also gets rid of this unknown stress that you had. Having this stress to always check that red notification button, to check your Snapchat, to snap someone back. My phone stays in my bag and I don't feel like, oh, I should check, see if someone looked at my Instagram or see if someone snapped me back. That doesn't happen anymore, and it feels amazing. So that is my challenge to you. Not to throw away your smartphones or to get a normal phone again or to swear off all technology. Just use your smartphone responsibly.